They laughed when she went down, and that was their first mistake, because the woman they pushed into the dirt wasn't some helpless recruit. She was someone who could end their careers with a single sentence. Before I tell you what happened next, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing who's here with me. It began on a wind-scoured morning at Fort Garrison. The base hummed with routine boots, striking gravel, drills in motion, voices bouncing across the yard. Through the noise walked a small figure, slim and quiet, hauling a duffel bag that looked far too heavy for her slight frame. There were no markings on her collar, just a standard uniform and a calm face that revealed nothing to the soldiers gathered near the barracks. Hey, she looked like an easy target. "Hey, rookie," one of them yelled. "Lose your babysitter." Another smirked and bumped her shoulder as she passed. The shove was rougher than necessary enough to send her sprawling into the dirt, dust rising around her. Laughter followed, sharp and cruel. She didn't yell. She didn't scowl. She calmly brushed the dirt from her sleeve and lifted her head. For just a moment, her eyes met theirs, and something about that look made them uneasy. There was a stillness there, authority, the kind that comes from surviving things far worse than this. She stood up slowly. "Names," she said softly. "I'd like your names." They laughed again, louder. "You don't get names until you earn them, newbie." But something unsettled lingered beneath their smiles. Hours later, word spread fast. The base's new admiral was arriving that day, a woman transferred from overseas command. The same soldiers who'd mocked the quiet newcomer now stood in formation, uniforms straightened, nerves buzzing beneath their skin. Then the yard went silent. The heavy doors of the command hall opened, and there she was, the same woman they'd knocked into the dirt now, walking forward with slow, controlled steps. Her cap carried the silver insignia of an admiral. Sunlight caught the metal, and every man froze in place. Even the wind seemed to stop. Her voice cut through the silence, calm and measured. "Earlier today," she began, "a few soldiers chose to welcome what they assumed was a new recruit. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but not the judgment." A murmur rippled through the ranks. One of the men who'd shoved her swallowed hard, gripping his cap until his knuckles turned white. "I've watched arrogance destroy more units than battle ever has," she continued. "And I've seen humility rebuild what pride nearly ruined. So here's your choice. Learn what kind of base this will be, or make room for someone who already understands." The air felt charged. No one moved, but something shifted, not fear, but respect. The men who had laughed now stood taller, eyes lowered, shame burning quietly. That evening, as the sun sank beyond the training fields, she stood alone near the flagpole, her gaze distant. A young private approached Todd, one of the mockers, but someone who had watched in silence. "Ma'am," he said carefully, I think they'll learn from this." She gave a small smile. "So will I," she replied, "because strength isn't about striking back. It's about standing steady and staying kind." By morning, the base felt changed. Orders were clearer, camaraderie was real, and the arrogance that once ruled had been replaced by humility. There were whispers about a rescue mission years ago, one that cost her her rank for a time and half her team. No one spoke of it openly. They didn't need to. When she looked at them, was no anger, only understanding and quiet power. Because real authority doesn't raise its voice. It stands unshaken, and sometimes the one who falls first becomes the one everyone follows. Because respect isn't demanded. It's earned moment by moment when no one's watching. And just like the dust from that morning, her quiet strength settled over the base and never lifted.